G'day guys, Elfie here. This is the first in what I hope to be a series of however many videos it takes to try and share the hidden mechanics sitting in the Archaeology Adventure that we just launched here in Victoria. This is the first. This is the very basic mock-up, I guess you'd call it, I did for the team to show them what we might be able to do. And there's probably 5 key mechanics that are still generally in the game, in the final version I should say, but mechanically most have changed, of course. So this is the sort of path we went through. So welcome to Metro Tunnel, blah 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 blah. Grab a security pass because we wanted them to have a security pass, and then they come to the dig site. So they walk along the street, whatever street that is in mini Melbourne, Swanston Street, and they get to the security guard who tells them that they need to, scan their security pass to enter the site. Right, I probably should turn the wheel off so I don't accidentally kill anyone. So they put the security pass in and they walk through and they end up at the dig site. NPC here telling us how much we're digging. That scale changed. It was untenable. And I also set it up. Now this mechanic doesn't work, so we're going to have to mock this up. There's a command block missing here, and I don't know where it went, unless that's it. So unless I just shifted them all up. But anyway, this is what each of them was supposed to do. So I had it rigged up initially so that it was random when items were found, but all fully tracked. So if a student found an item, we knew what item they found. That item could be found within a certain area, and we could track how many were found in total. So how many each student found and how many were found in total. So this red area was where the item could be found. This has a look in there for that person. If it finds someone, it gives them the item, then tags them as having found it, tells the player that they've got to take it for analysis, and then data tags everything else along the way so that we know that it's been found. Essentially what that does is that's a longer or an initial mock-up of these guys here. So initially, again, all this, I'm going back at this as like I don't know, ancient but items were going to be different rarity, and they still are, but the way we were judging that rarity is by how often they would be able to be found. So for example, this item here would be a 50-50 shot. If a player was in the area when this timer went off, it would be a 50-50 shot of that item being found. This one here is a 25% chance, a 1 in 6 chance, and a 1 in 5 chance. So if we just stay here for a little while, theoretically this should tell us stuff, hopefully. I just gave find 4 to someone. I just tagged that player that found it so they will not find it again. So I had it rigged up so that they could only find it once. I just gave find 1 to someone random and I just tagged them so that they can't find it again. So they won't trigger for me again, but 2 and 3, if we can get 2 or 3 to trigger, if you'll see the other way I thought that we could control how many items could be found. Are they going to trigger? There it goes. So I just gave the find to someone random. I also tagged the player so they won't find it again, but nobody else can find 2 now because it broke that redstone signal. So that was the idea, the basic idea, that I was going to use, and I did use, to provide students with a certain number of to provide students with finds. So I've only rigged up this find here. I want to do that and get that. So when they find it, they get what's called an unknown artifact. I thought hiding it, so gating it behind an analysis type thing was a good idea, and the archaeologists on the design team that were involved in the development of this agreed that that was a good idea, because they don't necessarily know what they find straight away. They have to go and get it analysed. So to do that, I hope this still works. All right, it analyses it and I get a tooth. Okay, so this one down here, it's just a standard hopper item sorter. All the unknown artifacts end up in here, and all this does is clones a chest that I want, destroys that chest, and then it kills off the chest because item drops are a thing in this one. So that's the give mechanic. There's the analysis mechanic, and then there's the display mechanic, and this changed significantly, but I thought initially that students should be able to be proud of their display and go and put it on display and get a researcher that gave them information about that, so further information. Now that changed significantly, but what we had to do was work out, so this is my array of NPC information people, and if we do a little bit of a wander over here, you'll see I actually did rig it all up to do it in a later version. That's a few videos away probably. So not only that, this can't be broken anymore. You can no longer call the researcher. It no longer looks for tooth, and you can't actually destroy the tooth from the gallery either. So it's constantly cloning that gallery from here. So that's that sort of stuff. There was also the requirement for students to choose how fast they dug, because we wanted them to be able have the choice to be careful, dig normally, or be reckless. And that was initially, by doing something like this, which is clearly not working right now. I don't have any. Oh, and they were, yeah. So again, early test version here, but basically setting the mining fatigue level and then tagging them on the scoreboard as having a particular speed, and then using that to choose whether they were finding a broken item or not was something. This was the early prototype of this is how we could do it. The disadvantage of this was they had to go to actually a place and say, well, now I'm going to dig slow, and that didn't seem very logical, so we came up with another strategy. But to give you an idea about how this works, all this does is clones that chest. So if I'm standing here and I find an item, we just clone that chest above my head and then destroy that chest with another set block command, and that drops the item out, because you can't give items in Bedrock Minecraft with a name or anything like that, and I wanted it to be an unknown artifact, so it needs to have that name. So that was sort of one of the first things we had to work out, was how to actually give an item, a specific item, to players so that we could then do things with that. I think I haven't gone through this stuff yet. So the security pass is literally cloning these two places in depending on what is seen. So if the security pass is there, then we clone in the open door. If the security pass isn't there, we clone in the closed door. So I believe No, it's not being cloned in constantly now. But if I grab a security pass and put it in, it is constantly being cloned. And then as you walk through, and that's changed a little bit, as you walk through, the pass gets removed and you get teleported up there. And if I don't walk over there, I won't get set to survival again. So that's the very first development version, I guess you would call it, showing how we could do that. Oh, and yes, the analysis does the same thing, clones this chest above me and destroys it. So, yeah, so that's it. I really like the NPC cartridge. I think it's really cool. Very difficult to set up. Very frustrating with regards to finding all the right locations for the redstone blocks, and not easily resettable. So that's why that is not in the map, because it just wasn't sustainable for the items that we had. I guess that's it for this one. Next episode will be sort of a run through on some of the processes we went through to get the actual Melbourne city map together, from 3D data to Minecraft and stuff like that. So look forward to that when I get a chance to do it. I don't know when. I've got no real timeline on any of these. I'm just doing them as I have time and have the energy. And yeah, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you next time. See ya.